5 points a game. Welcome everyone to Bartow Arena, Birmingham, Alabama. Dave Ryan, BJ Taylor. Underway Conference USA showdown between Western Kentucky and UAB, featuring the nation's third leading scorer, Jordan Jelly Walker of UAB. Should be a fun one to watch. Western Kentucky 9-6, UAB 12-4. The Blazers lost 2 in a row in Florida. Over the weekend, Western Kentucky beat UTSA in its last game. That's Emmanuel Acott, the Boise State transfer, hitting for Western Kentucky to get us going offensively.
Yeah, Rhino, and that's what Emmanuel Acott does. He utilizes his mid-range game to a T. He's one of the best mid-range shooters in Conference USA.
Brewer, a long-range shot. A transfer from SEMO and ETSU. Lots of transfers each side, but especially UAB. They have 5 transfers with over 1,000 career points, led by Jordan Walker, who has been incredible. They're Sharp on the baseline. Tallest player in the nation, Jamarion Sharp, at 7'5". Now, if he gets going offensively, BJ, it could be a good night for the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, Ronald, everyone in Conference USA already knows about Jamarion Sharp on defense, and now we're seeing the offensive side of his game.
Frampton, good hands. And Ladarius Brewer loses it on the sideline. It's turned over. Jamarion Sharp, reigning Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year at 7'5". 6.5 points, almost 7 rebounds, leads the nation in block shots. Does it all. Getting better offensively. We saw some range a moment ago on the baseline jumper.
Yeah, and you know, one of the biggest things for him is his teammates helping him be successful, right? We look at a big guy like him, we think, feed him the ball, but sometimes his teammates need to throw him easy lobs at the rim so that he can be a more effective offensive player.
Turnaround jumper, Acott short. Here's Gaines, the LSU high-flying transfer, who is something. What an athlete. Three-pointer, top of the key, missed by KJ Buffin. Follows the miss, and it comes away instead to McKnight. All Conference USA pick a year ago. Had it blocked in traffic. Gaines, good recovery in transition. Bill Cunningham, the interim coach at Western Kentucky, said defensive transition is going to be really critical tonight for his Hilltoppers. This is game 5 that Rick Stansbury has missed for Western Kentucky, a health-related issue. Gaines long miss on a 3, and Acott has the rebound offensively for Western.
And now if you're Western Kentucky right here, you're off to a good start. You want to run good offense and look to continue to get Jamarion Sharp involved, because when you do, he gets into it on the defensive end.
Tip by Brewer. Regain. Acott thought about a 3. Started his career at Arizona. Takeaway by Brewer, one of the Brewer brothers on this UAB team. Maybe got away with a walk, little Euro step, and lays it in for the Blazers' first point of the night.
Yeah, terrific move right there by Ladarius Brewer, utilizing the Euro step to get to the other side of the rim. And you know, Rhino, he's one of those X-factor players for this UAB team, because he's not one of their main scorers, but when he gets involved in the game, it usually leads to success for UAB.
They're back in, McKnight for 2. 6th leading scorer, Conference USA, 7th in assists, creates everything for Western Kentucky, an offensive spark plug. And we talked to him during the shoot-around today for Western Kentucky. Confident in this game tonight. Feed down low. Buffin had it altered by the big guy, Sharp. At 7'5", he changes a lot of shots. McKnight, other way, runs the floor too strong. Stick back Sharp is fouled by Trey Jemison, the transfer from Clemson, who picks up his first. Pace of play, good start, Western Kentucky.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when we spoke with Coach Andy Kennedy earlier today, he mentioned that transition defense, right? And right there, we saw no one stop the ball, allowing Davion McKnight to get all the way to the rim. Western Kentucky is off to a good start so far, for 3 for 7 from the field. They're getting Jamarion Sharp going. If you're Coach Cunningham, this is exactly what you were looking for from your team on the road to start this game.
Big guy Sharp leads the nation block shots, 4.5 per game. He's got 67 block shots, partner. There are 289 teams nationally that don't have that many blocks, 67 as a team.
Well, that's what happens when you have a nice 7'5" guy patrolling the paint, isn't it?
7'5", 225 senior from Hopkinsville, Kentucky. And a transfer from John A. Logan College. What an impact he's had at Western Kentucky. Here's Jordan Walker up top. Thinking 3, he's got it. A 3-point ace, the nation's 3rd leading scorer on the board for the first time tonight.
And that's Jordan Walker for you, Rhino. right? We look at him as a point guard, but he's just as effective off the ball, coming off screens, getting into his three-point jump shot.
Christian Lander off the bench, Indiana transfer, overplay, gains, creates. McKnight trying to regain. Here's Frampton, three-point ace for Western Kentucky. Catch, shoot, rattles it in.
Yeah, Luke Frampton has been on a cold streak as of late, Rhino, not shooting his normal percentages, but in the non-conference play, he was shooting nearly 50% from the three-point line. So he's a guy Western Kentucky wants to get going.
Walker, quick release, over Sharp at 7-5. What did Jordan Walker tell us today, partner? It doesn't matter if the big guy's out contesting against me and challenging a three. I'm going to shoot it over him.
Yeah, Jordan Walker knows he has that advantage away from the rim, and he plans to take full advantage.
Oh. Coming off a very tough game, Walker against FIU in the last outing for UAB. For those of you watching our free streaming coverage, it'll conclude after the commercial break, but we will continue on CBS Sports Network. You can find us by going to cbssportsnetwork.com/channel finder. Underway in the Magic City of Birmingham, Alabama. Against FIU, Jelly Walker only 8 points, 1 of 7 from three. One of his worst outings as a Blazer, but already 2 threes to begin the game. Here tonight, welcome to Birmingham, Dave Ryan, BJ Taylor, former star guard at UCF. Jordan Walker is spectacular.
Absolutely.
Maybe 5'9", 5'10", pushing it, but does it all. A diminutive dynamo, and he's the subject of the AT&T 5G fast analysis tonight.
Yeah, when you're looking at Jordan Walker, you're watching one of the best guards, not only in Conference USA, but the USA. As you see him here attacking the rim, he utilizes an elite combination of deep range shooting and quickness attacking the rim. He is an offensive nightmare for opposing coaches, and he's had that on full display already to start this game.
A 39-game streak of double figures broken against FIU in the loss on Saturday. They've lost 2 straight games, but by a combined 5 points. We sat down with Jordan Walker today for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And you talk about interesting, educational, informative. We learned a lot about his background coming from Long Island, Port Washington, and what a great player he's become and a leader. That's a rattle-out miss. Davion Davis up high for a rebound is fouled. There's no question Jordan Walker's going to be a pro.
Yep.
The question is what level.
Yeah, Rhino, and I can tell you as an elite scoring guard, when you have a game like he had against FIU, where he had 5 points and uncharacteristic 8 turnovers, you can expect him to be extremely aggressive hunting his offense tonight. And so far starting this game, that's what he's done.
Gaines, preseason Conference USA pick. The LSU transfer is something else. What an athlete. Davis, the touch, on Sharp, a challenge, and it's sent back.
Yeah, and attacking Jamarion Sharp in the paint is not a recipe for success if you're UAB.
Lander is held on the play by Taven Lovin, the senior guard. One of 5 1,000-point scorers on the UAB roster. 1,337 career points for him. But they're all UAB. Hard to believe in the era of the portal that he's been around here in Birmingham that long. Jordan Rawls in for Western Kentucky.
And it's fantastic to see a player stay at one school in this day and age, you know, put all his numbers up in one school. He's definitely beloved here in Birmingham.
Frampton, the native of West Virginia. Here's Rawls a touch. Western Kentucky broke a 5-game losing streak at UTSA Saturday. First league win. Lander for Rawls, 8 on the timer. Back iron miss, Buffin the rebound.
And that's a really nice defensive possession right there for UAB. They force a tough 2. They're able to get out in transition and run.
On a bounce, trying to get that to Davis. Picked off, though, by Sharp. Read it well. Rawls runs the court right off the bench for the Hilltoppers and creates some offense.
And that's what you need if you're Coach Cunningham, right? You know what Davion McKnight gives you. You understand Luke Frampton, Jamarion Sharp inside, but you're going to need players like Jordan Rawls to step up and give you some extra offense tonight.
Overplay Sharp with a nice steal. And it's out of bounds. Jamarion Sharp at 7'5", the nation's tallest player, is creating here tonight, BJ.
And everyone thinks of Jamarion Sharp just protecting the paint, using that length to block shots, but there he shows his athleticism and agility, stepping out and guarding the pick and roll, creating an easy transition opportunity for his Hilltoppers.
Takes a seat for now. 11 points, 12 rebounds, 6 blocks on Saturday in the win in San Antonio against the Roadrunners. Developing his game, was in the portal.
Yep.
And Phil Cunningham said he considered it, but came back to Western Kentucky, which is rare these days. Ephraim Johnson, the only freshman on the UAB roster, trying to work that to Javion Davis, and it's a foul call. Frampton picks up his first. Two team fouls on Western Kentucky early going here tonight from Birmingham. KJ Buffin, short. And Rawls adds to his totals off the bench. Stat stuffer. Hangs, almost. Rattles out with a righty runner. Walker's on the move. At any point across the timeline, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
Top of the key, it's a 2. He's got it.
There isn't a shot that Jordan Walker doesn't like once he comes across the half court. Driving all the way to the rim, getting to a mid-range pull-up, or the deep-range 3-ball. There isn't a look in this arena that he doesn't like.
Balou Jean into the game, first time as well for Western Kentucky. Transfer from Northwest Florida State College. Long shot for Lander.
And, you know, he's one of those guys, Rhino, who's been struggling so far in conference play. Hasn't really found his confidence from behind the line, but he stepped into that one with a lot of poison, a lot of juice.
Walker 7 already, thinking about 10. Not this time. Rebound for Buffin, looking for a fresh 20. And some contact on the baseline.
And you know, Rhino, you look at Christian Lander right here, stepping behind the 3-pointer off the screen, and you love to see that if you're Coach Cunningham, right? Because they had a stretch there without Davion McKnight on the floor, and you know this, sometimes you see offenses dip when you don't have your main catalyst out there, but Christian Lander, Jordan Rawls were able to hold down the fort. Now they have Davion McKnight back in the game, and they can get back to running what they traditionally run.
Eric Gaines has returned as well. We had a long chat with him today. Talked about defense being so key. Up high! Offense, though, with Javion Davis. The Alabama-Mississippi State SEC two-time transfer with a follow hammer.
Yeah, just a tremendous follow-up right there by Javion Davis. And as a guard, you love it when your big guys clean up your misses, because then coach can't get mad at you.
McKnight's back in the game. He ignites and creates. Lefty floater. On top of the key miss. Davis the rebound. We'll see if Gaines can ratchet things up defensively. We know what he can do offensively. He told us 40-plus inch vertical jump. There's the pass to Davis. There's the and one. High-low, and the offense is clicking here for UAB.
Absolutely impressive setup. The drive, Javion Davis on the putback. UAB up early here in Birmingham.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Marco's. Pizza lovers get it. And by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
Nice look at the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame here in Birmingham, dedicated to communicating the state's athletic history. Museum displays over 5,000 objects related to athletes who were born in Alabama or earned fame through athletics in this great state. The and one here attempt for Javion Davis. Third stop. Began his career at Alabama, then to Mississippi State. Redshirt junior, Canton, Mississippi. And a big-time talent down low. Let's see if the big men can match up with Demarion Sharp at 7'5", who is not in the game right now for West Kentucky.
Yeah. And Coach Andy Kennedy loves to go to this defense, Rhino. You know, his defense didn't come out very sharp there in the man-to-man. They love to go to this 1-3-1 to switch things up.
Rawls a miss, Gaines up high, showing us that vertical leap. He was talking about with us today after the UAB shoot around. Up to the basket he goes. Short, though, on that dunk try. Comes out for Brewer. From 17, too strong. McKnight, weak side rebound. Here comes Western Kentucky. 17 points a game for McKnight. Lefty floater, good pump fake, and 2 more for the southpaw.
Yeah, and that's one of the keys for UAB tonight. We obviously spoke with Coach Andy Kennedy. He said, hey, we got to keep these guys out of the paint. We got to be better perimeter defense. And Davion McKnight is one of the best guards in this conference. They got to do a better job down there on that end of not allowing a guy like him to get to his spots on the floor.
McKnight double figures 13 of his last 15 games, and that one is thrown away and turned over by UAB. Third miscue of the game. Get ready for more Hilltopper Hoops next Thursday. Square up with the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. More Conference USA action coming your way. Tip-off starts at 9 Eastern right here on CBS Sports Network. Number 3, Andy Kennedy, a legend here, one of the all-time great scorers, playing for the father of UAB's basketball program, Gene Bartow. Late 80s, early 90s. Some of the scoring records Andy Kennedy put up, phenomenal here.
You know, we were surprised yesterday. We checked the game notes and we saw Coach Andy Kennedy's one of the all-time leading scorers. You know, got to put some respect on that man's name, right?
Hamilton from Allen hits. Absolutely. Jarius Hamilton, another Power 5 transfer. Boston College and Maryland, third stop for him. He scores in double figures. Hilltoppers have 3 players, 10-plus scorers entering play tonight.
Just an absolute physical specimen he is.
Walker short from 3. He's 3 of 7 from the field to begin the game. The rest of the team 3 of 12 from the floor. Here's Gaines, hangs, looking for Davis, wasn't ready for it. Picked off on a good defensive rotation by Western Kentucky.
And that's one of the weaknesses of these UAB guards. They jump in the air on passes, and it's not fundamentally sound. They get themselves in a lot of trouble. As we see a miss right there, looks like the ball is going to stay with Western Kentucky.
Baseline miss there by Emmanuel Acott. Out of bounds, sticks with the Hilltoppers, 20 on the timer on this Western Kentucky possession. And, Sharp is back in the game here, partner.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people might ask Ronald to go back to the turnovers. How can a guy as good as Jordan Walker have 8 turnovers? Well, it's things like that, jumping in the air and not just being sound and sharp in your movements on the floor. Because it's not a lack of talent.
Acott, ISO. Long range shot, rattles out for Hamilton. And offensive rebound for Trey Jemison. 17 points, 12 rebounds. That loss for UAB on the road at FIU in Miami. And all the players we talked to today for UAB confident they can bounce back. Jemison, the touch, the double team, and a lot of contact down low with Sharp and his teammate Dante Allen.
And I tell you what, you love to see this from Trey Jemison, not being afraid to attack the big fella. It's not that you can't go at him. You just have to be smart about when you attack him. And, you know, quite frankly, in that situation, you'd like to see Dante Allen, Rhino, not come over and try to block the shot from behind. Like, you got 7'5" Jamarion Sharp in front of him. Force Trey Jemison to finish over the top because it's probably not a high percentage look.
Right. First foul there, partner, on Dante Allen, the Kentucky transfer, and former Mr. Basketball in the Bluegrass State back in 2019. That's a big call. Could have been Sharp second. So 1 each now for Allen and Sharp. And Jemison hits his free throws. Game's going to come down to how UAB defends this guy right here, Davion McKnight.
Very balanced player, Rhino. He doesn't play out of control. He plays within himself, but he knows when to attack. He plays a really good brand of point guard.
Here's McKnight for 3. Open on a good ball rotation. Jemison, Acott is shaken up. He's holding his head and hurt for Western Kentucky behind the play. Jordan Walker, other end. Feeds baseline, and Lovin is fouled. Acott very slow to walk toward the Western Kentucky bench.
You know, a great shot attempt right here by Davion McKnight. It's the look you want if you're Coach Cunningham. But you got Emmanuel Acott just crashing the glass. And it looks like he got kicked in the back of the head there by Trey Jemison. And I tell you what, I've been hit in the back of the head before by a big guy. It's
not fun.
It doesn't feel good.
Not fun.
It doesn't feel good at all. So hopefully he's all right and he's able to return to this game.
Senior guard from Franklin, Kentucky, Taven Lovin has got one more. 5th year playing here at UAB. All-time Blazer leader in games played. He broke the record held by Anthony Gordon with his 138th all-time contest as a Blazer in the day of the portal and NIL, and that's rare. It's rare that anyone stays that long in one place.
You don't see it often these days, right?
Really. McKnight lobs. There's Sharp down low. Jamarion Sharp at 7'5", lob it up to him, and he's going to slam it in. He's got 5 points.
And that look is always there against the 1-3-1. That cross-court diagonal lob is always there. Now, when you got a guy like Jamarion Sharp, it gets that much easier.
Walker off a curl, feeds down low instead. And KJ Buffin Up for the hammer on the baseline is fouled to shoot two. Walker defers there and passes instead of shoots.
And you know what? I don't think anybody on his team should have a problem with that, because he's always going to have an opportunity to take his looks, right? This is one of the best guards in the country. He's up for every major award college basketball has to offer. He'll be able to get his when he wants to, but when he gets his teammates involved early in the game, he'll be surprised how much more it makes those guys play harder for him, because now they're involved in the game.
Hamilton is out for now. Aycott a few moments ago now is headed to the Western Kentucky locker room to be checked out by Hilltopper trainers. Hope he's okay and can return soon. Second free throw from Buffin, transfer from Ole Miss. He's UAB's third leading scorer, scores almost 11 points a game. I mean, these Blazers, PJ, loaded. We're looking at the rosters getting ready for the game. All the Power 5 transfers you can want. Lots of career 1,000-point scores. Firepower is what I think of when I first look at UAB.
Absolutely. I mean, we've mentioned Jordan Walker a ton and the heck of a player he is, but Eric Gaines is an NBA prospect, right? So they've got a backcourt that has both are going to be on NBA rosters, NBA training camp rosters next season. So it's all about meshing and figuring out how to get the best out of these guys this season.
Speaking of NBA, how about McKnight there on the fadeaway? Gaines at the end, free throw line jumper is off the mark. That's knocked out of bounds. Tyrone Marshall, JC transfer, getting some time with Aycott out for Western Kentucky. We've got a timeout here in Birmingham.
And you look at Jamarion Sharp up top, finishing, throwing it down. The big fella's got it going early here in Birmingham.
Five to shoot. Taylor. Taco Fall. Who was that on the pass? Who was that on the call on CBS Sports Network? That was me. That was you, BJ, lobbing to the 7-6 Taco Fall. And we talked about your great career at UCF, lobbing to the big guy who's now playing professionally in China.
Yeah.
So you know exactly what Jamarion Sharp goes through with his guards here. You can relate.
Absolutely, and there are a lot of similarities between these guys, right? The biggest difference is obviously their weight. Jamarion Sharp's a little bit lighter, but he moves so well. And, you know, people always talk about, hey, well, why just don't feed him the ball? Why don't you just feed him the ball? There's so much responsibility for guards to make it easy on these big guys. And as you saw in that highlight of me throwing the lob up to Taco, we've already seen Davion McKnight throw a lob over the top against that UAB 1-3-1 to Jamarion Sharp. So you want to make the game easy for those guys, because when you do, it opens up the floor for the guards to attack.
You had quite a few lobs to Taco Fall back in the day.
Man,
we love covering you as a player, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and just a great guy, right? When you think of Taco Fall, more than just an excellent basketball player, but just a really terrific human being.
Sharp's second straight year being the tallest player in Division I basketball. Jemison the touch on the baseline. Tough shot, way long though. There from Butta Johnson. That's his nickname, Efren Johnson from Huntsville, Alabama. The freshman. A little out of control, McKnight this time. And it comes to Walker. Jordan Walker to the basket for two. Double figures again for Walker.
And that's the danger of Jordan Walker getting it going early from deep. As a defender, you got to crowd up on him, and he is so lightning quick. He's going to hit you with a 1-2 crossover and blow by you to the rim when you sneak up too tight.
BJ, that's his 75th career double-figure scoring game. 75.
Yeah.
Foul on the perimeter. And it looks like Efren Johnson was there. A couple of Blazers in the vicinity. They'll call the freshman on the foul. Andy Kennedy very high on the future for Efren Johnson, getting more and more playing time as his career progresses.
Yeah, and you love to see him getting as much time as he's got this freshman year for Coach Andy Kennedy's team. The pride of Huntsville, Alabama. He's an Alabama guy, so you know it means a lot to him playing for this UAB team.
Lander for Marshall into the game. McKnight the ISO. On Lovin, way high off the glass, almost off the top of the backboard and in. And Walker has the loose change on a feed there from Ladarius Brewer, one of the Brewer brothers. Offensive foul called. Go across midcourt. Jemison picks up his first and the team's fifth here in the first half for Andy Kennedy.
And you see this kind of play happen a lot. When you have a guard as quick as Jordan Walker is, it's hard sometimes for those big guys to get up there and get set. So he's got to stop now. And Christian Lander does a great job of fighting over the top. You like to see Jordan Walker slow it down a little bit right there and allows big fella to get set up, set him a good screen.
It's got to hurt, though, right? Running in a guy like that, 6'11", 260. Nice overplay on defense there for Jamison on the other end. Darius Brewer, his brother Ty Brewer, both transferred from East Tennessee State, ETSU. In their careers, both over 1,000 points entering the portal and then joining the Blazer roster this year. Firepower, plenty of it. Good defense there from Marshall. And it's out of bounds on the drive of the basket by K.J. Buffin.
And you know, K.J. Buffin is a guy, Rhino, for this team who doesn't get a lot of love, but he is so good in the interior, right? Got his shot blocked right there by Tyrone Marshall Jr., but he's one of the players to watch for UAB near the paint.
Walker passing picked off by Frampton. The no-look attempt there from Jordan Walker, ill-advised. 8 turnovers against FIU in the loss Saturday for UAB, a shocking number, a career worst for Jordan Walker. He said to us today, I'm going to clean that up. Don't worry, it's going to get better. Not that time. Lander way too strong with a runner, and the easy rebound for Buffin.
And one of the things, excuse me, Rhino, one of the things UAB fans are seeing tonight that they may not be used to is Jordan Walker playing more of the point guard position. He usually plays off the ball, allowing Eric Gaines to handle the PG duties, but it looks like moving forward, Jordan Walker will be the point guard as you see a travel by Jamison on the baseline.
Walk Trey Jamison on the baseline, 7 turnovers first half here. That's something that's got to change for UAB. Andy Kennedy was disappointed in his team's effort with turnovers, especially late in the game. He said, look, we had some pick sixes that just killed us in that loss to the Panthers of FIU.
Yeah. And you don't expect that from veteran players, right? You want to see your veteran players execute late in the game, and they just struggled to do that.
Rawls for Marshall. Slow down type game, that's what Western wants to play. Rawls had it blocked. Big rejection there. Taven Lovin with a swat. Brewer other end, floats and hits. Ladarius Brewer, SEMO, ETSU, and now UAB. Lots of letters in there. His career, but looking good on the righty runner.
Yeah, terrific job of Taven Levant starting that fast break, allowing UAB to get out in transition.
McKnight other end, too strong. Elbow jumper, Walker on the loose here for UAB. Hesitation. Feeds baseline. Sharp broke it up.
Yeah.
Again, affecting play in the paint at 7-5.
Yeah, and that's the length that you're not used to. When you have a player as large as Jamarion Sharp, when you're KJ Buffin, you can't make those kind of careless passes. Got to put the ball real high to get it over Jamarion.
Rawls thought about step back. Frampton, always a three-point threat. Not been a big factor yet. Good closeout. McKnight through traffic, the Euro step, and travels. Timeout in Birmingham. Defense leads the offense, BJ.
And you see Taven Levant going up and getting it off the glass, allowing Jordan Walker to get out, start the fast break. Nice finish by Ladarius Brewer.
Western Kentucky UAB head-to-head Conference USA action. CBS Sports Network tonight from Bartow Arena. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Adam Zucker, Ray Montgomery, Roy Hibbert. Gary Parrish, our basketball insider, have you covered with everything happening in the world of college basketball. Phil Cunningham has taken over for Rick Stansbury. And we spoke at length with Coach, a longtime assistant for Rick Stansbury. Did a great job at Mississippi State. That team made 7 postseason appearances in an 11-year stretch. Former head coach at Troy, won the conference tournament there as a head coach. It's not easy taking over for someone who's done so many great things in Conference USA and in the SEC.
Absolutely not. You know, the biggest thing you look for when you're the coach and the players go out, right? You want the same things that happened when Coach Stansbury was in there to happen with Coach Cunningham. You don't want to see slippage in practice, guys taking it easy as if the substitute teacher is in. You want to see them bringing the same intensity as you see Ladarius Brewer keeping it rolling from behind the line.
His first 3 of the game, first UAB lead of the night. 5th game for Phil Cunningham. So far, filling in for Rick Stansbury, 1-3. Relieved to get that win in San Antonio Saturday, stopping a Hilltopper 5-game losing streak. McKnight pulls up. gets a roll and silences the Bartow Arena crowd.
Yeah, Davion McKnight is so good at getting to his spots, especially in the mid-range, right? You know, he's only a 6'1" guard, but he plays bigger, especially when he gets into that mid-range 15-foot area.
McKnight told us today the Brewer lines up another three, short from the top of the key. Loose change and brought in by Rawls. A couple new wrinkles with Phil Cunningham taking over. Otherwise, a lot of what Rick Stansbury put in already. Marshall is free for three. Tyrone Marshall, the junior from Nashville.
That's a good sign if you're Western Kentucky, right? Got a guy like Tyrone Marshall, hasn't been giving you big minutes throughout the season, comes in in this road environment, steps in, knocks it down with confidence.
Fifth three of the year. Plays about 12 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Aycott hurt, getting some more time. Up top, it's Walker. Third three of the game for Jordan Walker. Spectacular talent. Started his career, we mentioned, from Long Island at Seton Hall. Went to Tulane, had some good years. Played against your UCF Knights in the American Conference.
Yep.
But since he's come to UAB, he has just absolutely busted out offensively. Had a spectacular spike in scoring.
Yep. And
he had a 40-point game in his first game as a Blazer.
Incredible, incredible.
Almost an and one foul. At the top of the key, some contact with Marshall.
And now you could see the bounce when Jordan Walker was bringing that ball up the court, that he was going to take that shot. Right, I can't explain it. I can't tell you exactly why, what it was, but it's a bounce. It's the hop in his step that he's feeling it. He's feeling good. He wants to redeem himself after that performance down in Miami against FIU.
Big fan of Steph Curry. Watched the Warriors game. Steph's return last night closely.
Yep.
Big fan of CP3. Now, we talked about it. He's maybe 5'10", but what a spectacular star. You see his road here. It's been interesting from Long Island to Seton Hall, where he was hurt. He had an injured wrist that cost him basically his entire season at Seton Hall. Didn't redshirt there.
Yeah.
Tulane was a defensive specialist and a distributor, but here at UAB, partner, he has become an offensive star.
Yeah, you know, we spoke about how much Coach Andy Kennedy has given him that green light, and it's really allowed him to just blossom into the star player that he is.
Rawls from 15. Good bench play for Jordan Rawls and for Tyrone Marshall for Western Kentucky here. Jordan Walker, preseason Conference USA Player of the Year, the reigning MVP of the league. Gaines, a sophomore. Ultra athletic. Brewer, the cut through the paint for two. Andy Kennedy told us today it wasn't a sure thing that Ladarius Brewer and Ty Brewer would come together in the portal. But that's the way it worked out, and it's been great for UAB with all these transfers and new pieces just having a great season so far.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm sure Ty Brewer and Ladarius Brewer knew they were coming together. They maybe didn't tell Coach, but they knew they weren't splitting up.
McKnight, timer running out on the baseline. Perfect, smooth. Davion McKnight for two.
And there we see him again with that mid-range lefty jumper, right? Pulling up for the light, easy one. And now if you're UAB here, you want to get the last shot. There's no need to rush. The worst thing that can happen is you allow Western Kentucky to get an easy run out. They want to get the last look, take this shot around 3 seconds on the clock.
Final seconds of the first half. Free is Brewer. Front iron miss from three. Sharp has the rebound. Here's Rawls. It's blocked. Ladarius Brewer upset he missed a shot, but a nice block to end the first half. Western Kentucky, 8 players scored. Their bench was excellent. And a good opening 20 here for the visitors from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Up by 2. AT&T 5G.5 is coming up on CBS Sports Network. Halfway home, Conference USA. Good one tonight. Western by a bucket. Defending Conference USA Tournament champion UAB and Western Kentucky top 2 picks in the preseason poll, and a good one tonight from Birmingham. Welcome to the Magic City here in Alabama. Dave Ryan, B.J. Taylor, former star guard at UCF. Great road first half, I thought, for Western Kentucky, but Jordan Walker, 3 more threes. He's got 66 for the year. That's third best in the nation.
Absolutely, Rhino. Jordan Walker has shown tonight why he's one of the top guards in the country. 13 points on an efficient 5 of 9 shooting. We see him here doing what he does off the bounce, knocking down the deep laser. And then when you hook up on that 3 ball, he drives by you, gets to the rim for the easy lay. But not to be outdone, Davion McKnight has accepted the challenge. And he said, listen, Jordan Walker, anything you can do, I don't know if I can do it better, but I can do it. And he has got to his spots, his mid-range pull-ups. That's what he does. And most importantly for him in this second half, he needs to control the tempo of this game.
First half numbers, what stands out to you here, partner?
I'm telling you what, man, when you look at this 4 for 11 for UAB, all right? When this team is rolling, they're up over 10 3-pointers a game. And, you know, as long as Western Kentucky can hold Eric Gaines down, we know Jordan Walker's got it going, but Eric Gaines has had a slow first half, no points from him. And Coach Cunningham and his ball club is going to look to keep Eric Gaines contained. Jelly Walker's going to do his thing, but you don't want to let his running mate get it going here in this second half.
UAB about 7.5 threes made per game. 0 for 3 for Gaines from the field in half number 1. Second half for Birmingham underway here tonight. Big Conference USA showdown. Western Kentucky visiting Reds, UAB in the home whites. And here's Walker's first touch of half number 2. Feeding for Buffin. And a whistle as he heads to the basket. We're told by Western Kentucky officials that Emmanuel Aycott is unlikely to return, BJ. Second half, head injury suffered in the first half here tonight. That's a big loss.
A huge loss for this Western Kentucky team. Emmanuel Aycott is the second best player, the second most productive player for the Hilltoppers. So what does that mean? You hear coaches say all the time, next man up. Well, for Western Kentucky, it's going to be next men up. They're going to need Luke Frampton to get it going from behind the three-point line, and they're going to need some of their other bench guards, the Christian Landers, Jordan Rawls, to pick up that slack, because no one player is going to most likely pick up what Emmanuel Aycott brought this team.
Jarius Hamilton picks up his 3rd foul a moment ago. First player in this game with 3 fouls. And KJ Buffin makes the 2nd free throw. Pressure off the made free throw for UAB. McKnight harassed by Buffin and by Jordan Walker. Frampton right from beyond the arc. Hit his only attempt of half number 1 for Western Kentucky. He can stretch out a defense.
Absolutely. Teams have guarded him more tightly, more closely in conference play, as you would expect. So it's going to be on Davion McKnight, Jarius Hamilton to help get their guys some open looks.
McKnight under 10 of the timer, buries a deep 3.
Just smooth, Lionel. Just knows how to get to his spots. We talked about Jordan Walker's quickness. Well, with Davion McKnight, it's his pace. He never plays too fast. He's always under control.
Former Mr. Basketball in the state of Kentucky. Here is Walker free for 3. It's another for Jordan Walker. 4 triples in the game. Up to 16. Looking for another 20-point outing. He's got 32 20-point games in his career. Remarkable for a guy who just got going offensively when he got to UAB, his 3rd stop.
Yeah, and when we spoke with him earlier, he said, I always knew I was a star. And look, he's showing it.
He told us his mom said, you know what, there's a closet door closed, and the lady lost the ball there, right on cue. And when the light's coming through, that means that star's got to shine. And he said, you know what, that star is me.
Absolutely, and you see Davion McKnight here stepping right behind the big fella. That's a harder shot than you think behind Jamarion Sharp. And then watch Jordan Walker's ball. It doesn't touch the rim. That's how you know you got a good shooter, right? When that ball goes straight through the rim, doesn't touch anything but the nylon, I mean, you got yourself a sharpshooter.
Here's Hamilton. The runner is short. Over KJ Buffin. Couple of Power 5 conference transfers. Gaines, hesitation, changes direction, and is bumped on the way to the basket.
And now Eric Gaines is the guy that Coach Andy Kennedy is going to need to get going here in this second half. We see Jordan Walker rolling, 16 points. He's playing well, 6 of 10 from the field. But if Jordan Walker is Batman, Eric Gaines is Robin. And I tell you what, Batman was nowhere near as effective without his Robin.
Not that first half, first point of the night for Gaines. He's got 6+ assists in 5 games this year. And a double-double with assist against Presbyterian early in the season. This guy's electrifying, incredible athletic talent. You'd think he's a pro.
Absolutely. He's the best NBA prospect that UAB has. That might surprise a lot of people with how good and how productive Jordan Walker has been. But when you look at Eric Gaines' length, his athleticism, his ability to defend multiple positions when he wants to, as he's doing Davion McKnight right now, that's what really makes him an NBA prospect to a lot of scouts.
Lead back to UAB. McKnight baseline, hesitation. Two more. Davion McKnight. That's tough to defend if you're Trey Jemison, who's 6'11". Just too good, too quick.
And just so subtle, right? He gets to the paint. He throws a subtle shoulder, moves Trey Jemison off his spot, knocks it down, and, you know.
Jemison, rebound, the hammer. Better position on the 7-5. Jamarion Sharp, the easy two for the Clemson transfer.
Love to see the flex by the big fella, right?
Offensive foul, McKnight.
And, you know, Trey Jemison kind of got bodied right there by Davion McKnight on one, and he came back on the other end and said, well, you know what? I can get me off as a board and put that thing back in. Jamarion Sharp want to block it from behind. You're not getting this one, big fella.
Big foul partner a moment ago. That's McKnight's third. Jemison was the first one out today for the UAB shoot-around, working around the basket, 10 feet and in. Saw a lot of dunks in practice, and out of bounds is Gaines turning it over. Jemison looks the part. You're right about that. I mean, he is jacked.
I'll tell you. I mean, he's just 6'11", 255 pounds of all muscle. And I think that's going to give Jamarion Sharp problems, because when you have a big guy like that, from my time playing with Taco Fall, the hardest thing for those tall, lanky guys to do is to use their leverage when they're playing smaller guys, right? The bigger guys that are smaller than them, they get into their legs, they push them off their spot. And you've seen Trey Jemison frustrate Jamarion Sharp with that a little bit tonight. So kudos to Trey Jemison for the effort he's doing on Jamarion.
McKnight with the 3 fouls, 15 on the timer. Gaines harasses him. Darius Hamilton's been really quiet tonight for the Toppers. Here's McKnight to take with a left blocked. Jemison, Frampton loose change, final seconds on the timer, and a foul is called.
And I think Luke Frampton wants a shooting foul. Not sure if he's gonna get it, but we see it. Does this touch the glass? No, Trey Jemison gets that clean. And then Luke Frampton is asking for a shooting foul on that one. I'm pretty sure the refs caught that as that's a pass. You know?
I thought it was passing.
That's one of those as a player you try to say after the fact it was a shot, but
it was sell it.
Yeah, it was 100% a pass.
You gotta sell it. Here's Frampton though, shooting and scoring. A deep corner 3 for Luke Frampton from Polka High School in West Virginia. Do you know what the nickname for Polka High School is? Can you guess? The Polka?
The polka's a dance, actually. So
it's the polka dots.
Here we go.
Polka dots. A take to the basket there for Buffin, and the and one for KJ Buffin.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you make a move like KJ Buffin just did, I wouldn't be mad if he did the polka dance, baby. I'm telling you, heck of a strong move right there, using his physical frame. When you look at him, you see these shoulders, right? And just a strong rip and drive, and gets into Jamarion Sharp's body so he can't jump and contest it at the rim. You love to see the strength and strong play from a guy like KJ Buffin.
Against South Carolina, the SEC, 25 points, 8 rebounds. He's had 9 points a game, his last 6. Another piece, another Power 5 transfer from Ole Miss. Former stop of Andy Kennedy. He didn't recruit him. That time didn't quite work out there. But Andy's returned to his alma mater in year 2. School record 27 wins in the NCAA tournament. And looking like a very strong contender in UAB's final year in Conference USA, off to the American next year to win it again. McKnight, hesitation, baseline floater, rattles out. Jemison, strong rebound. Tie up there, and Hamilton almost had a foul call.
That's a battle of 2 of the strongest guys on the floor right there from the rebound. When you got Trey Jemison and Jarris Hamilton, it's a tug of war for the ball under the rim. You think you would get that ball?
No.
Okay.
BJ, no. I wouldn't be down low at all. Jemison, nice shovel pass there from Buffin. Up and away. Trey Jemison, two-handed hammer. Rim rocker. A whistle and a foul, leading us to a timeout. Gaines picks it up.
And we have seen Trey Jamison come out this second half, putting his impact on this game, finishing with the big fella, Jamarion Sharp, hanging on his back. He said, take this big fella, UAB up here in Birmingham.
Monday night, 9 Eastern, don't miss more Blazer basketball. UAB closes out a 2-game road trip, heading to Middle Tennessee territory. Murfreesboro take on the Blue Raiders. BJ will be there on the call here on CBS Sports Network. Watch it all unfold right here. Middle Tennessee playing well in the East Division Conference USA. Charlotte is ranked. FAU has got a 14 in the net as of today. Some really good teams in the league.
Absolutely, and you know, Trey Jamison tonight, Rhino, is starting to make his presence felt here in this second half. We looked at this matchup early on, and we felt like Jamarion Sharp had the advantage. But when you look at a guy like Trey Jamison, he has the advantage in physicality and girth and just overall strength. As we see him finishing under the rim, he's telling Jamarion Sharp, listen, big fella, I know you got the height advantage, but you don't got your grown man body yet. And Trey Jamison is showing his strength in full force tonight.
He's all grown up. He's all grown up. Battle of the Bigs, they call Trey Jamison Tall T here in Birmingham. He's something else as you match up the two guys.
And you look at Jamarion Sharp having 6 inches on Trey Jamison, but Trey Jamison 35 more pounds at 260. He's using his physicality because he doesn't have height on his side. So he said, listen, I'm going to put this bench press to force, baby.
Jamison led the team in rebounding block shots a year ago. Long miss, long range there for Luke Frampton, the 6-year guard. Davidson transfer, his first miss from beyond the arc. The top 3-point shooter in terms of percentage in Conference USA entering play tonight. 48.8% for Frampton from beyond the arc.
That's incredible. It's an incredible stat.
Nice rotation. Jarius Hamilton, the overplay on Javion Davis, back in the game for UAB.
Back to Luke Frampton, Rhino, to shoot 48% from behind the 3-point line. I know guys who don't shoot 48% in empty gyms, so for him to do that in the game, it's incredible. And that's why teams have been guarding him differently, trying to make his 3-point attempts more challenging, as we see
Walker up top there. Partner a miss.
Yeah.
Frampton's got incredible range, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
39 threes entering play tonight. He's knocked down 2 from beyond the arc. Sharp checks back in. Now, Jamarion Sharp does have 3 fouls. It's a big factor for interim coach Phil Cunningham in managing his minutes down the stretch here.
Because they don't have any real backup size, right? You know, they'll bring in other guys, but then it turns into really a collective effort there on the glass. Surprisingly, Davion McKnight averages about 6 rebounds per game. He's one of Western Kentucky's better rebounders when Jamarion Sharp is out of the game. So, as you mentioned, I guarantee you UAB is going to look to attack the big fella so that he can pick up his 4th and they can send him to the bench.
All right, after the brief conference there, Hamilton is out with 4 fouls. We mentioned that Acott is not going to return, in all likelihood, with a head injury. Foul called on Jordan Walker. Didn't like it.
But you know, that's what you got to do against a guy like Luke Frampton, right? You got to get up in him, make him feel uncomfortable, may get called for a touch foul every now and then, but got to get a guy like that not feeling comfortable, especially after he starts to make 3-point shots.
McKnight, 9 on the timer. Got hung up, looked for Sharp late, picked off by Walker. Gaines ahead of the pack for 2. Five-point lead, largest of the night here for UAB. Now the response on the road. 7-0 Blazer run. Rawls hangs and hits. That's the answer.
And that was a huge response right there because it started to feel like momentum was flowing for UAB. Is this game going to go from 5 to 7 to 10? That was a terrific answer right there by Jordan Rawls to slow down UAB's momentum.
Davis for Johnson. Double team on the low post, low left block. The freshman Ephraim Johnson was open. He cuts the basket, gets fouled.
this UAB team does a great job of cutting, right? When their big guys get doubled in the paint, we've seen Javion Davis and and Trey Jamison both find their cutters, and we see him find Efren Johnson right there, able to get to the free throw line after the cut. And I bring that up, Ronald, because a lot of times big guys aren't comfortable passing out of the post, especially when the double team comes. You see them sometimes panic and turn the ball over. So for these guys to have enough poise to find their cutters for layups or free throw attempts, that's terrific coaching by this staff, making these guys feel comfortable.
First point of the night for Efren Johnson. One of 6 players on the UAB roster from the state of Alabama. Ty Brewer, brother of Ladarius, who had a really big first half. Each more than 1,000 career points at their prior stops. Southeastern, then ETSU, where he and brother Ladarius both played. Now they've moved to UAB.
Yep.
It's the era of the portal, BJ. Just got to keep track.
Yep.
They're free agents. Year by year, players are moving around.
Yeah, these teams are one-year symbols, right? You know, if you look at it, that you're no longer buying cars, you're renting, you know?
Steele, Gaines, behind the back, but lost it back to McKnight. Almost traveled with it. Marshall ahead of the pack. For the hammer! Tyrone Marshall. Easy flush.
Tyrone Marshall's a heck of an athlete, right? Head was up near the rim on that finish. Goodness gracious.
JC transfer, Colby Community College in Kansas, where he had 30 starts last year. Big impact tonight here, Division I. Here's Brewer. There's 2. About 10 points and 5 rebounds a game for Ty Brewer last year at ETSU. Got to be so hard as a head coach in the portal era, BJ, to get chemistry together. It's got to take a while.
Extremely
so many new
challenging.
pieces.
Extremely challenging.
Rawls is hot tonight off the bench for Western Kentucky.
Rolling, and as you mentioned, we don't usually see this from Jordan Rawls, but something in this Birmingham air that's making him feel comfortable inside this arena.
Senior from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Feed down low for Davis, broken up, sharp, good defense. And here's McKnight. Frampton, the anywhere in the gym range. McKnight spins, but lost it on the way to the basket. It's out of bounds, back to UAB.
And a nice defensive effort right there from Jelly Walker. You know, Coach Andy Kennedy challenged him to be just as effective defensively as he's been offensively this season. And right there guarding Davion McKnight, an exceptional guard. Jordan Walker shows his defense. Because a guy like him, you look at him as undersized, right? You think, okay, well, he can't guard because he's not that big. But when you're that small and as quick as he is, he can stay in front of people laterally. And that's what he needs to do. He needs to utilize his quickness and agility on defense as he does on offense.
Top of the key for Darius Brewer. He's pure. It's from 15. Nice stroke. UAB has hit 6 of its last 7 in this game. Heating up. And lead back to 5 in our back and forth Conference USA showdown tonight. Rawls, good handles. Watched by Brewer. Then lost it. Darius Brewer, really good defense.
And Jordan Walker is hunting the ball. Look for him to be aggressive here.
You feel like it's Walker time, right?
Absolutely.
Crossover, Brewer. Through traffic, top of the key, had it picked. Marshall stepped right in front of that one. On the other end, driving the basket there from Christian Lander, the Indiana transfer from the Big Ten. Got a foul. We have got a timeout here in Birmingham tonight. UAB starting to turn on here, BJ.
Jordan Walker's shown you what kind of scorer he is, but he said, I got vision too, baby. Setting up Eric Gaines for the easy layup.
UAB, third leading scorer in the nation team-wise. 86.5 points a game. Starting to get going offensively here as we take a closer look at a play we love, brought to you by Marco's Pizza. Jamarion Sharp, partner, 7'5". What an impact he can have offensively, especially on defense for Western Kentucky.
I'm telling you, and they made this play earlier in the first half. Davion McKnight finding the big fella up top, but they kind of went away from it. And, you know, I'm sure Coach Cunningham is imploring his team that don't forget about the big fella. Don't forget about the big fella. And I'll tell you what, anytime you're on any list with the incredible player Zach Edey from Purdue, that's a good list to be on. Whether it's height, points, rebounds, Zach Edey is a National Player of the Year candidate. And I tell you what, Jamarion Sharp isn't there yet, but he's having his impact in Conference USA, and you want to see a player like him continue to grow and continue to develop into the player that he can eventually become.
Lander, BJ, was fouled before the break. Has one more free throw here for Western Kentucky. Misses that. Quick question for you. So 8 field goal attempts for Sharp in the last game Western played against UTSA. That's the most shots he's taken all season.
Yep.
Why not use them more at 7-5?
I tell you what, you're not going to feed him in the post. You're not just going to give it to him. So his teammates have to find him easy situations, as you see Javon Lamont go up and finish over top of the big fella. But with a guy like Jamarion, his teammates really have to focus on finding those plays and easy setups for him, because there isn't going to be offense ran through him. It's not going to happen. As much as fans may want it to happen.
Not skilled enough is what you're saying.
It's not going to happen.
Okay.
It's just not going to happen. It's the way basketball is played partly. I mean, unless you're just a dominant big guy with that physicality and just a strong inside presence. Think of an Armando Bacot from North Carolina. They're going to feed him, get him the ball, and allow him to throw those hooks. But with Jamarion Sharp, it's not going to happen. So he has to find ways through offensive rebounds, lobs, putbacks, those sort of things, if he wants to increase his offensive output.
He had 86 dunks last year. He's way under that number this year. 3rd best in the nation a year ago. Not utilizing him as much as you might think.
Yeah.
And Phil Cunningham said to us today, his game is still developing. It's going to take time. Rawls up top hits another. He has had himself a game. Jordan Rawls, the Georgia State transfer, missed a couple games this year with a hand injury. The senior from Chattanooga has been effective off the bench for Western.
Confidence is flowing. You see it backpedaling on defense. His confidence is just flowing.
Got 10 points tonight. Ty Brewer, back iron miss. Davis up high, but Sharp higher at 7-5. Another rebound for the Hilltoppers. Marshall passing in the corner, and hitting there's Lander, who was free, and the quick release for Western Kentucky.
And I tell you what, Ronald, these extras have been good tonight for Western Kentucky. And what I mean by extras are Jordan Rawls and Christian Lander.
Response for Jordan Walker. Wow, what range. Give him 5 threes in the game tonight. 3rd leading scorer in the nation, up to 19 points. Brilliant talent. And we've got to tell you the story at some point of why he's called Jelly. Dante Allen into the game. Another Western Kentucky sub is fouled on the play there by Ephraim Johnson. So the Google definition of Jelly in terms of playground basketball in New York City, he's from Long Island, close to the Big Apple, is a really nice play made by someone who's smaller. He is diminutive. He's 5'9", if you can't dunk. But he told us today he's from #JellyFam.
Yes.
It's New York City area players who are awesome like him, who all have the same nickname. Like Isaiah Washington from the University of Minnesota. He's from New York. DeAndre Washington as well. Jackway James. And Jaden Quinterly, who plays at Alabama for Nate Oates. He's from New Jersey. It's the New York metropolitan area guys, the Jelly Fam.
Yeah, the Jelly Fam kind of came around recently. It's not something that has been around for a long time, but those guys take a lot of pride in how they finish around the rim, and they're able to use different Englishes and flicks around the basket.
So there's a story behind that, right?
Yep.
I thought it was pretty cool. He told us today in our meeting with Jordan Walker. KJ Buffin is fouling on the way to the basket. He's going to shoot some free throws here. Looks like Marshall gets it for Western Kentucky. But basically, they're all nicknamed Jelly. So if they were together, they call each other by their first names because there are too many jellies on the court.
Well, I personally would want to be peanut butter. You know what I mean? They got all that jelly. They don't have any peanut butter. They don't have any bread.
You got to put a peanut butter in there.
I want to, have a whole meal here.
Buffin, one more free throw here. Team's 3rd leading scorer, 2nd leading rebounder. Another beast. Andy Kennedy has some pieces this year. If I'm the rest of Conference USA, I know they lost 2 in a row to FAU and FIU. 2 losses, 3 games by a total of 6 points, by the way. The rest of the league, they're going to be dangerous in March to try to repeat defeat as tourney champs.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a 1-bid league, most likely. As hard, as tough as that may be to accept, hopefully they can get 2. We'd all love to see that, but I think all the coaches in Conference USA are intending on this being a 1-bid league.
Here's Rawls trying to stay hot. Back iron miss. Wow, up high is Jemison. Defensive rebound. Elevation for Trey Jemison. Eric Gaines, the trailer Jemison. To the basket. basket blocked by Sharp at 7-5. Nation's leading rejector. Later runs the court. Look at the transition defense. Comes to Walker. Got some numbers. Walker, Buffin. Blocked again by Sharp. Here's Jemison, lays it in. End-to-end action with fast breaks and block shots. Incredible to watch. And Phil Cunningham says, whoa, whoa. Whoa, timeout. Western Kentucky, let's catch our breath.
I'm telling you, look at Coach Andy Kennedy with the fire and the energy. I tell you what, Rhino, I'm not sure if we got ourselves a basketball game or a track meet the way they're getting up and down here. KJ Buffin doesn't finish, but the big fella with the putback.
All right, BJ, we all know how important the net rankings are for teams in mid-major conferences like this. You mentioned Conference USA has not had multi-bids. It's been a while. 2012 the last time, but FAU is having a season. Charlotte is ranked in the top 25 this week.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Rhino, FAU's ball club is rolling down there, led by head coach Dusty May. He's got these guys playing incredible basketball, leading this league right now. We know what North Texas brings to the table, and Charlotte is ranked. It's a ranked ball club, so this is a very competitive league. As we said, I know this entire coaching staff in Conference USA would love to get 2 bids, but I promise you they are in the locker room telling their teams we have got to continue to build and get better as we move towards March and the Conference USA Conference Tournament, because most likely the winner of the conference tournament is the only team that's going to be a lock to get an NCAA tournament.
UAB won the tournament a year ago in the Dallas Metroplex, the 15th time in program history to the NCAAs. First time though since 2015, it's been a while. Andy Kennedy returning to his alma mater where he played for the legend Gene Bartow, doing great things. Frampton, 3-point ace back in the game here for Western. Watched by Walker and a bump called on Jordan Walker. 2 fouls on Jordan Walker.
And his intensity on defense has been better. That was a little bit too much, right? He was a little too aggressive on Luke Frampton. And, you know, you got to realize who you're guarding. Luke Frampton is not a great off-the-dribble player, so there's no reason to be overly feisty against him when he's driving the ball, because he's not looking to create for others, and he's really not looking for his own shot. He's probably looking to just give it up.
Frampton from Poca, West Virginia, hits the free throw. He recently went over 1,000 career points. We talked about all the UAB players with a grand plus. Frampton's had a nice career at both Davidson and Western Kentucky. Here's Walker, free and a curl. Hits. How good is Jordan Walker? 6 threes in the game, up to 22 tonight.
And he is so quick, Rhino, when he comes off those screens. He sprints, and then he takes his time going up into his jump shot. It's really hard to do that when you're moving that fast.
Skipped into the corner. Hamilton with 4 fouls. Hits a 3. Much needed for the Hilltoppers. Nice response.
And we said Western Kentucky was going to need a collective effort, and they have gotten that in Emmanuel Aycock's absence. We've seen Christian Landers step up, Jordan Rawls, and now Jairus Hamilton gets in on the act. They have stepped in for their brother being missing. Walker
again over McKnight. Not this time on that quick release 3. I mean, off that curl partner, it's out of his hand in a blink of an eye.
Everything he does is fast, right? I imagine he ties his shoes fast.
Rolls the basket. Can't convert this time, but he is bumped on the way. And Jordan Rawls, the Georgia State transfer. Big game tonight for Western Kentucky. Shoots free throws when we return to Birmingham. Great game this evening in Conference USA. "33rd career 20-plus point game for the great Jordan Walker, the senior guard from Long Island. And BJ, we're going to revisit our AT&T 5G fast analysis. Break down what makes this guy so good.
I'll tell you what, as I mentioned in our open, he has an elite combination of deep range shooting and quickness, and he has had his arsenal on full display tonight. He has set up his teammates. He's gotten to the rim. He's knocked down that deep ball, as we see here. Contested hand, it doesn't matter. It's like shooting in the empty gym when you're a great shooter like Jordan Walker. And I tell you what, man, he's so sensational as we look at his stats, averaging 23.5 points on the season. He's already at 22 tonight. And if I was someone, and I was a prediction man, I'm not a prediction man, but I'll make my prediction right now.
We'll make you one right now. Go ahead.
I would expect him to go over 30 points tonight. You with me?
I'm totally with you.
All right.
He's done that 7 times. He's got 2 40-plus point games. Do I hear 40? Is it time?
I'm not ready for that
maybe
yet.
Not, maybe not. Rawls misses the free throw. He was fouled before the break. Only Darius McGee of Liberty and Antoine Davis of Detroit Mercy have more threes. And there you go, the 30-point game. If that prediction comes through, we'll break a tie. Andy Kennedy, his head coach, as we talked about, had an incredible career as a shooting forward. He's been playing the 3 and the 4 here in his days for Gene Bartow. What a talent. A miss, rebound, run out. Rawls, Frampton, one more. Hamilton free for 3. Needed for Western, the miss. Walker and the pack. Frampton recovers the hard foul by Luke Frampton. Means Jordan Walker will shoot, or maybe that's called on the floor. Let's find out.
And I think he might have rolled his ankle and stepped on Luke Frampton's foot as he attacked the rim right there. Ronald, he kind of came up hobbling, but, you know, as we spoke about his speed, hopefully his ankles heal as fast as he is. He took a weird step right there as he was going to the rim. I think both of them actually caught the brunt of it as we see Luke Frampton kind of, you know, jostling him right there on the side. Hopefully both of those players are good to go for the rest of this game.
Free throws here. Shoots 89%. Fantastic for the free throw line, as you might imagine. Such an incredible three-point shooter. Gets the roll. Walker up to 23 points. He said to us today that sometimes the chemistry can be tough. Eric Gaines, the newcomer, transfer from LSU, great backcourt with Walker. He said, look, sometimes we clash. It's not always perfect, not always roses. He said to us, it's lonely at the top sometimes when you're the team leader, which he is. He's a captain. First one out in the court all the time for UAB. It's a lot of responsibility. It's not only the easiest position to be in.
Absolutely, and having been a former high-scoring guard myself, it's all about communication with your teammates, and everything you do has to be about winning, as we see a rare 5-second call, timeout. Timeout by Western Kentucky right there.
The last moment, McKnight double-team baseline got the timeout for Western Kentucky, and interim head coach Phil Cunningham. UAB trying to avoid its first 4-game losing streak in about 4 years. Phil Cunningham called that timeout because McKnight was in a lot of trouble, partner. As you pointed out, now just one timeout left for the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, it's something you got to be aware of. You know, you can't utilize a timeout in a situation where it's not absolutely necessary. They're going to have to be very careful when they use their last TO.
5 on the timer. McKnight up top, thinking 3-ball, buries it. Hands a big triple for Western Kentucky.
Big-time shot right there by Davion McKnight. And if you're Jordan Walker, you can't go under that ball screen. You got to get over the top, fight over, and force him to get downhill, because just like Jordan Walker's a terrific shooter, Davion McKnight's not too bad himself.
Andy Kennedy told us today, perimeter defense going to just be critical tonight against the guards for Western Kentucky. Brewer in tight corners to miss. Jemison crashes the offensive glass. The stick back for 2.
He has been so good tonight, hasn't he, Rhino?
Excellent. 10 points, 9 rebounds for Trey Jemison. Big man, UAB. McKnight spins through traffic. Kind of wild, too strong. Jemison, a double-double, up to 10 rebounds.
And I tell you what, he's had a bigger impact on this game than Jamarion Sharp has. And, you know, coming in, I don't think either of us predicted that. So, got to give a lot of credit to the big fella.
Buffin for Brewer, spins short from 10. A good look there from Ladarius Brewer. Here's Rawls, floats through traffic, tough shot off the glass, he's fouled. And bumped on the way to the basket by Ephraim Johnson. He picks up his second for UAB.
A terrific downhill attack right there by Jordan Rawls. But if you watched as the play developed, and this is something unique about playing with a guy like Jamarion Sharp, as Jordan Rawls drove the ball to the basket, Trey Jemison was very hesitant about leaving Jamarion, coming over and helping on that drive, because you don't want to allow an easy lob at the rim. So you would like to see Western Kentucky's players take more advantage of that, because defenses are going to be very reluctant to leave Jamarion Sharp wide open near the rim.
Big game tonight for Rawls, no doubt about that. 12 points and 1 more free throw. See what kind of role Sharp going to have here in a 1-possession game. couple touches early offensively, just the one lob dunk.
Yeah.
Now I'm watching tape thinking, why don't they just lob it to him on the baseline more? I mean,
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, sometimes 10 inches taller at 7'5" than whoever's matching up with him. Doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, and we spoke, with the coaches earlier today. They mentioned, how nice of a kid he is and how he's, like a kid stuck in a 7'5" body. And I think sometimes players take advantage of a big guy's niceness, and it's not what you want to see. But I promise you, if he was more demonstrative and just mean and just a little bit more, a good mean, right? He would get the ball a little bit more. So it's on his teammates to help him out.
Jarius Hamilton, partner, is fouled out. So done with 4:54 to go here in the second half for Western Kentucky, battling foul trouble all game. By the way, it's his birthday. So happy birthday, Jarius. Should have said that earlier when he was in the game.
Exactly.
Now he's DQ'd, and we wish him the very best.
And, the best birthday gift he can receive at this point is his Hilltopper brothers pulling out a win for him, because, he won't be able to have an impact on the game anymore. But I'm sure he'll be rooting very hard for his brothers to fulfill his birthday wish.
Jemison misses the free throw. Sharp's got the rebound. 7'5", the incredible wingspan, the reach. He's got 8 boards, 5 points in the game tonight. In possession game, neck and neck so far. Rawls hits another one. Response, Western lead for the Hilltoppers, thanks to Jordan Rawls.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Andy Kennedy, there's not a lot you're going to do about that. You didn't expect a player like Jordan Rawls to do what he's doing tonight, and quite frankly, I don't think they're going to change their game plan to look to stop it.
Jemison over Sharp, short. Buffin converts. A.J. Buffin, they'll want to, and the second chance points for UAB.
Yeah, one of the best offensive rebounders, not only for UAB, but in conference. USA doing what he does right there on the offensive glass.
ISO McKnight, pump fake. Foul call, might count that basket. We'll see if it's goaltend. If it is, you can count it.
It's definitely a goaltend, right?
Count the basket.
Yeah. And you see the swat here. Now Trey Jamison's coming over to get it, but you're too late. And you see the frustration. I'm sure he's very frustrated with himself after making a play like that, because now you allow the two. You're allowing Davion McKnight a chance at a three-point play, and he converts. At this point in the game, Rhino, every possession really starts to matter. You hear coaches with the cliche all the time, every possession matters, but when you get down into winning time, when you go under 4, this is when you got to make sure you're not allowing any easy baskets and you're being very sharp on offense.
Buffin altered by Sharp. But the end one. K.J. Buffin would not be denied. Chance for a three-point play for UAB to tie the game up. After McKnight goes over 20 points for a 5th time this year, 17th time in his career. Buffin has been special tonight.
And K.J. Buffin finishing inside against the big fella. He said, big fella, no problem, and one. We got a good one here in Birmingham.
Coming up next, our coverage of college basketball wraps up with a Mountain West showdown between UNLV and Boise State. Keep it right here on CBS Sports Network. We're out to the Mountain West for some late night hoops. BJ coming up next. That great conference, multi-bid league again, for sure, for the Mountain West. UNLV 3rd in the Mountain West in scoring, and Coach Rice's defense locked down.
And I tell you what, Ronald, UNLV is going to look to do what they've done for years. They want to show that they are the running Rebels, 77 points per game in the Mountain West Conference. And Boise State, on the other end, they want to slow that down, right? Make this a low-scoring, low-possession game and force UNLV into some tough shots. So it should be an exciting one coming up.
New Mexico got a great start this year in the Mountain West. They won their first 14 before losing on our era to Fresno State last week. San Diego State's perfect in conference play. Nevada, Steve Alford's playing a lot better. I like Utah State. They are loaded, about 10 deep, can really score.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, you mentioned Steve Alford at Nevada, as you see a kickball right there. You know, he was tremendous at UCLA, and now he's got Nevada up and rolling. I mean, something about that West Coast for Steve Alford, he just likes it.
It's a good league. Conference USA has some really good teams too. We talked about FAU with a 14 in the net. Charlotte 16-1 this year, they're ranked. Could be multi-bid time for CUSA. McKnight, big possession here. Rawls, fabulous tonight off the bench. Floats short. Rebound for Buffin.
And now we mentioned this is winning time, right? Well, for UAB, this is Jordan Walker time. The entire offense will be ran through him. Most of the sets will be called for him.
Walker up top, Porter. That was a deep three. Jamison can't track down the long rebound. That was from the Blazer Dragon Flame there. Was that 30 feet?
It definitely was, but here's my question.
Right.
Did you think it was going to go in?
I mean, yeah, when he
Absolutely,
released it.
you do. But every time he lets the ball go, you feel like it has a chance to go in.
It's got a chance.
Yep.
But quick possession. He does have 6 threes tonight to lead the way. 1-point game, back and forth Conference USA matchup tonight. McKnight free for 3. Cans it from up top for Western Kentucky. He's got 3 triples in the game.
And we mentioned it earlier, but Jordan Walker, best player in the league, but Davion McKnight is not far behind.
Buffin trying to respond against Sharp. Under the basket, can't hit, and Sharp at 7-5. Clears the defensive rebound for Western.
Now, Western Kentucky wants to slow the tempo, right? Run something for Davion McKnight to get a good look or set up one of his teammates. And this is really good right here.
Frampton free for 3, top of the key, it's short. Good box out, UAB.
But you'll take that look if you're Coach Cunningham. Got one of your best shooters, a solid 3-point look. There's nothing wrong with that if you're Western Kentucky.
Gaines trying to respond after the good box out defensive glass. Miss. Jemison over Frampton. No whistle, stick back, and a foul. And that is now 4 on Sharp.
And there was just no way Luke Frampton was going to win that battle for the rebound. It was between Trey Jamison and Luke Frampton, and I mean, you got to salute the effort from Luke Frampton, but there's just not much that he can do.
Not over the back, though? I mean, there's a lot of contact.
A lot of contact there.
My opinion.
Yeah, but y'all have a problem with the play on. In this situation, you don't want to see anything, too tight. They've let them play today.
Got a lot of fans in Bowling Green, Kentucky who do not agree with you on that
I'm sure. But
I thought that was definition over the back myself.
You calling a foul on Trey Jamison, though, is a little bit, it can be scary at times, right? You got to make sure it was a foul.
Ball don't lie, buddy.
Absolutely.
Missed the first free throw. See, misses 2. I'm just saying. Buffin, stick back. If that's Sharp, that's number 5. He's fouled out. Did the best he could on position. But Jamarion Sharp has done. Second Hilltopper to foul out along with Jarius Hamilton tonight.
And Rhino, we mentioned earlier, Noah Manuel Acott goes out early in the first half with that head injury. And it's not just his offense, but it's also his defense. He's a 6'8", 6th-year forward. He brings more than scoring to this team. He also brings rebounding, because right now, Western Kentucky doesn't have anyone on the floor. It's over 6'7", right? So that all started with the KJ Buffin offensive rebound, and it puts Jamarion Sharp in a bad spot. Everyone's going to look at Jamarion like you can't foul out, but that really wasn't his fault, because it was an offensive rebound that put him in that awkward position.
5 points, 8 rebounds for Sharp tonight. Buffin to the free throw line. Cans the first. Belouge Jean at 6'11". The JC transfer from Senegal, Africa, back in for Western. Two for Buffin. All tied tonight. Bartow Arena crowd making some noise here.
The fans are on the feet. You gotta love it, right?
Rawls the fake. A step back from 15, short. Marshall rebound, fresh 20 for Western Kentucky.
And now she says,
slow it down here.
Absolutely, set it up. There's no need to rush. Run a nice set for Davion McKnight to get downhill to his left hand.
8 on the timer. McKnight the back end, the ISO over Walker. Too strong. Jemison the rebound. He's got a big game. 12 rebounds, 10 points, double-double. Trey Jemison for the Blazers. 8 ties, 13 lead changes. Biggest lead for the Blazers, 7. For the Toppers, 5. Been fun tonight, back and forth in Birmingham. Final minute regulation. turnover, Brewer. In the final seconds of the shot clock cycle, a shocking miscue for Ladarius Brewer on the sideline. And it's back to Western Kentucky. Wow, Andy Kennedy, incredulous. We can't believe it. All right, BJ, a moment ago, 14th turnover of the night for UAB. Shocking miscue from Brewer on the sideline. And now they got to play some defense here is how it unfolded.
Yeah, and we're showing the turnover here, a little bit careless right there from Ladarius Brewer, but UAB was never able to get organized and settled into an offensive set right there. You saw Jordan Walker looking over at Coach Kennedy, trying to figure out what they wanted to run. Then he shoots one over real quick to Ladarius Brewer, and it goes out of bounds. You know, that was all around just not a sharp set at the end of the game. And I'll tell you this, against FIU, it was a similar game to this. And this UAB team was not able to execute down the stretch. They're going to look to right the ship here at the end of this game because they do not want a repeat of last weekend down in Miami.
Lost to both FAU and FIU in very close games. 2 of the last 4 Blazer games, partner, have gone overtime. They've won over UTEP in double OT, and then a loss to FIU in overtime in their last game by 3. They're used to these close calls. McKnight the ISO. Marshall thought about a 3. Instead, tries toward the 10. Misses the layup. Rebounds loose. Who's got it? Comes out to Rawls. Wow. Fresh 20 here for Phil Cunningham's bunch. And 15 on the timer for Jordan Rawls. 10 to shoot. In a tie game. Rawls the ISO. Kick out for Allen. It's a 3. He's got it. Dante Allen's first points of the game. A 3 for the Toppers with about 20 seconds left. Andy Kennedy gonna let this one play out. Walker up top, looking for the answer. It's way off. That's out of bounds. With 3 timeouts left.
And you look at the shot right here from Dante Allen. What a shot to be your first points of the game, right? The confidence to step in on the road. Road fans are going crazy. He said, I don't feel any pressure. Knock this down.
Only his 7th 3 of the year. Rawls is going to be fouled fast by Walker in the backcourt. That is 3 fouls on Jordan Walker. The slump at the end of the game here in regulation for UAB. No field goals the last 3.5. That span, they've missed their last 4 shots. Wow.
Now, if you're Western Kentucky right here, they want to make their free throws, right? They want to make their free throws. They've been 9 for 11 from the free throw line in the second half. They want to continue that, right? Now, you're up 4. They want to stretch it to a 5-point game. They don't want any cheap fouls here once UAB gets the ball. And if you're Coach Kennedy's club, you're going to look to push. You're going to have to move really quickly right here. Look for Jordan Walker to go for his pull-up 3. If not, they're going to go for a quick one at the rim, and then they're going to have to play the foul game.
It's only the 14th game of the year for Rawls, who plays about 14 minutes a game. 65% from the line. It's just shocking step up here for a lot of the Hilltoppers off the bench tonight. Does miss the second free throw. Jemison a rebound. Here's Walker. 10 seconds left in regulation. Walker through traffic, floats, but can't hit. There is a foul. And Marshall, some contact on the challenge. That's about the last thing you want to do if you're Western Kentucky is foul Jordan Walker and stop the clock.
Yeah, not a good foul. Jordan Walker's moving at lightning speed. He's flying out of bounds, shooting a floater. If he makes that, he makes that. But it's not what happened. So now, stage is set. Jordan Walker's going to want to make both of these. UAB is going to go into a full denial defense. Jordan Walker's shooting an uncharacteristic 1 for 4 from the free throw line tonight. But after this next one, they're going to have to be very quick into getting to their denial defense. And another key point, Western Kentucky is out of timeouts. There are no timeouts, so they need to tell all of their players and their team, players have to communicate on the floor, do not call a timeout, know what your press breaker is and your inbounds player is right now.
25 points in the game for Jordan Walker. Here comes the pressure in a 2-point game. 7.5 left in regulation. Frampton to inbound. Looks for help. No timeouts for them. Got to find somebody. They find McKnight in the final moments, and there's a foul. Trying to track him down was Eric Gaines once they got the ball in bounds.
And I tell you, that 5 seconds feels like 3 seconds when you're the man taking the ball out. It feels like that time is flying, but really good poise right there by Luke Frampton to find Davion McKnight as his outlet.
McKnight 3 for 4 from the line, and buries a big one. Sorry, now 2 for 2 from the line tonight. For Davion McKnight, huge free throw. Still a 1-possession game. The lefty trying to make it 2. Hits the second. 16 for McKnight in the second half, a huge game. Walker, final seconds, launches, banks it in, count it. It is good on the deep 3 to make it a 1-point game, a foul with less than a second to go.
But boy, how close was that to being an and one, Rhino?
Almost.
Oh. And you look at the speed, getting it across half, but then he goes up, and boy, I tell you, I know Dante Allen's hands were straight up, but I promise you tomorrow in film, Coach Cunningham is going to stress to him, you do not want to get that close to a shooter at the end of the game, because the officials very easily could have called that an and one.
28 for Walker, 7 threes. Officials will, of course, check the clock. May have been a little more time run off there, I thought, BJ. Could be possibly over a second as they get the exact time left on the scoreboard here after the Walker 3. Banked it in.
Yep. Goes through
1.9.
Yep.
So they'll restore some time here.
And I don't mean to harp on it too much, but I tell you, when you look at Dante Allen, I mean, he's moving into Jordan Walker.
It was close.
It was very
close.
Very close. And you see Jordan Walker obviously wanted the foul. But no matter what, no matter how much time is on the clock, if you're Western Kentucky, you got to make sure that you're able to get the ball in cleanly right here.
5th game for interim head coach Phil Cunningham, replacing Rick Stansbury, who is back in Bowling Green, Kentucky, dealing with a health issue. We wish him well and hope he returns soon. For those of you tuning in for the Boise State UNLV game, you'll be able to find it streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN. As soon as it tips off, and of course, we'll get you out there immediately after the conclusion of this game. 1.2 seconds is the official time remaining here. McKnight, 3 or 4 from the line. Gets a roll. He's had a huge game.
When this is the guy you want at the line if you're Western Kentucky, it just seems like his pulse never raises. And he misses.
Misses that one. Timeout called in a 2-point game. And right now, a second on the board. Missed free throw. Still time for Andy Kennedy and UAB. We're back in 30 seconds. .9 left on the scoreboard here. Andy Kennedy calls a timeout. He's got 2 of those left. Boise State UNLV now streaming at CBS Sports app, cbssports.com/CBSSN. We'll get you out there as soon as this game is over. Late night in the Mountain West. Great matchup coming your way. Great finish here in Birmingham. Inbounds play with 9/10 left. Ladarius Brewer to midcourt. Deep shot off the mark. And a miss from KJ Buffin to try to win it there for UAB. Western Kentucky, after losing 5 in a row, has now won 2 straight. It's another heartbreaking 1-possession loss for UAB. Final moments, we'll see the replay here, and our final score is 80-78. Coming up next, 3rd game of the college basketball tripleheader. Boise State takes on UNLV. Now for BJ Taylor and the entire crew, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from Birmingham. What a finish in Conference USA tonight.